Hey Dirt Magicians, welcome to a video all about how to grow carrots, especially for you if you've never done it before or you've not been very successful in the past. In this video, we're going to break it down step by step and do it together. We'll talk about the 4 steps for successful seeding and germination, as well as ongoing carrot care, which is a fun thing to say, when to harvest, and make sure you stay right till the very end when we discuss a special tip that we use to make sure that our carrots store for a really long time. My name is Bree, and I've been an urban gardener for the last 7 years, and I've been lucky to be with Dirt Magicians for the last 2 years teaching gardeners all about how to grow food. All right, Dirt Magicians, let's talk about seeding carrots. In my opinion, getting everything ready to seed the carrots is probably the hardest part and the most important to make sure that we are successful in growing our carrots. So there's several steps that we do in preparation and in seeding our carrots. The first one is making sure that our soil is nice and loose. If we have a hard or clumpy soil, that's really hard for that root, the actual carrot, to be able to grow down into the soil. So we might want to loosen it with a pitchfork or a fork beforehand to ensure that it's nice and loose. All right, so the second step in seeding carrots is actually watering our soil before we seed. And that's because the carrot seed is super teeny tiny and it could get washed away if we are watering afterwards. Let's seed some carrots now that our soil is loose and wet. So because our carrot seeds are so teeny tiny, we don't want to seed them too deep into the soil or they won't be able to make it up and when they germinate. But they also need good soil contact. So I like to make little trenches where I'm going to put my different seeds like this. And then I just sprinkle the carrots in as I go. And I kind of don't care how many seeds I'm putting in because we're going to thin them out later. And I want more to ensure I actually get enough germination. Then I very lightly cover the seed like that. It's really important that we are direct seeding, so putting the seed right in our garden beds and not in some tray or seedling tray. Just because carrots hate to be transplanted because they've got such long roots as they're forming a carrot. They need to be able to go deep down into the soil right away. So after we've sown the carrots, there's actually another important step, which is covering the carrots with something like a row cover, cardboard, or burlap. Now, the reason we want to do this is because we can't seed them very deeply. If the carrot seed is not moist the whole time it's trying to germinate, it will die. It doesn't need light, but it does need moisture and soil contact. So covering it just ensures that our soil stays nice and moist. It also kind of adds a little bit of warmth if we're doing it really early in the spring, as carrots can be grown quite early into the spring. So yeah, my personal favorite is burlap, and I just lightly cover my carrots until they germinate. Now, carrots take between 14 and 21 days to germinate, so don't panic if after a few days your carrots still haven't germinated. I've had so many beginner gardeners be like, it didn't work, and it's only been a few days. But this is also why covering them is so important, because it does take so long. However, although carrots don't need light to germinate, once they've germinated, they need that light for photosynthesis. So after about the day 7 mark, I'll just check in every day, quickly remove the burlap or whatever cover you've chosen to use and see if they've germinated. And once they have, I'll remove it. Pro tip, most coffee roasters will give away their burlap for free after they've used it once for food safe reasons. Let's talk about carrot care once our carrots have germinated. So yay, we got to germination, they've popped up. So we actually only want a carrot every 3 to 4 inches from the other carrot, and that's because they get quite bulky. You get nice big tops, and you don't want them competing, otherwise you'll end up with super skinny carrots. So it's gonna feel ruthless, it's gonna feel like these massive gaps, but trust me, it's worth it. So by thinning, what I mean is I'm gonna pull out the seedling. So I'm gonna choose a carrot, and then I'm gonna move 3 to 4 inches from that carrot and pull all of the seedlings out in between. And I'll just put those in a salad because it's still edible, and I think that kind of helps take the sting off of probably what is the most emotionally tough part of growing carrots. All right, let's talk about when to harvest carrots and how to harvest carrots. So carrots typically take about 60 to 80 days from seeding to be ready to harvest. Now, the way that we can confirm that they're ready to harvest is we'll just look right at the base of the carrot. Sometimes it's already popping out of the ground, or I'll just shake some of the dirt off right at the base. And if it's nice and wide, then I know that my carrot's ready to harvest, and I'll just grab right from the top. You might want to loosen a little bit before you go, depending on the type of soil you have. What we have in a raised bed here is very loose, so I'm not too worried. And then we just pull. And voila, we've got a tasty yellow carrot. Actually, this would be a white carrot. I'm not sure what Trisha's growing in here. Storing carrots, let's chat about it. So there's two different ways we like to do this. If you are storing it for a while, you know you're not going to be eating these carrots, then I actually don't wash them and I put them in parchment paper. I keep them dry into the crisper. However, if we're just storing them for the week, but we want them to stay fresh and crispy, first, we rinse them off, and then we get a Ziploc bag with 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. So because the carrots keep drinking water, this keeps it nice and fresh and crispy. And then I'll just store them in the bag. Now, something I forgot to mention in terms of storage, it helps to remove the herbaceous tips first, as they'll just store a lot longer, because the green leaves are gonna wanna pull the water up into their tissue away from this. So we just rip those. I put them in the freezer for smoothies. You can also add them to a salad, depending on what kind of flavors you like. And then crisp up. All right, Dirt Magicians, that's the end of our video. If you learned something valuable, harvest that subscribe button and like our video, as it helps up and coming content creators like us gain traction in the YouTube world. Also, please share in the comments below any of your own tips around growing and storing carrots that has worked for you. We'd love to hear from you, as the more we can learn from community, the better. We'll see you guys next time.